Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start our video with a story about a front-end manager at a pizza place in Austin. Just before closing, a man furiously knocked on the door, demanding service and claiming he'd been calling for 20 minutes. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. When entitlement meets closing time. I work at a pizza place as a front-end manager in Austin, New York-style pizza. It's an awesome place to work, and we close at 10 most nights. We also run a tight ship. Only me, the pizza chef, and the fry cook. It was about 9:55. This oddly specific time is important. It had been dead for 30 minutes, so I yelled to my boys, "I'm calling it. Let's close up." In the 30 minutes we were dead, we'd already cleaned up and did our side work. All that was left was the register, so as soon as I'd called it, the chef and the fryer clocked out. I was by myself. I locked the door, turned off the lights and AC, and started closing the registers. I get a call. We're closed, so I ignored it and focused on the register. Call again. This happens one more time, and I'm so busy counting money that I can't answer. In hindsight, I should have answered. I realized that, and I regret that. At 10:02, I remember because I have to text my boss our number, so I was on my phone and saw the time. I see a man approach my door. We'll call him Pizza Beggar. PB starts furiously knocking on my door. I walk up to open it, confused. Me. "Hello, sorry, we're closed right now." PB. "I've been calling you for 20 minutes and you haven't answered." Me. "Sir, I haven't gotten any calls except for a few less than 5 minutes ago. I'm sorry." PB. "I can show you my phone records. Don't try to downplay this." Me. Pulls out cordless phone from apron and scrolls to find his calls since we have caller ID. "See, these are the calls from you I got. They started at 9:56. I should mention he wanted 4 pizzas and 20 wings. I could include that part of the conversation, but it's a bit tedious. PB. Well, you could have at least answered the damn phone so I didn't waste my time." Me. "That's completely fair. I'm sorry, sir. I was just busy with the register." PB. "Who even authorized you to close early? Where's your manager?" Me. "He doesn't spend a lot of time here. I'm the front-end manager, so I called it. We turn off the oven and fryers about 10 minutes before for safety reasons anyways." PB. "You can't just throw us in some wings or a pizza real quick? It can't take that long. This is bullcrap." Me. "Sir, both of my cooks are gone. I'm not a pizza chef and the appliances are cooled down. The most I could do is a salad." PB. "This is ridiculous. Can you at least comp me some free pizzas for this massive inconvenience?" Me. "While I am the FEM, I don't have that authority, but I'll leave a note for my GM. I'm terribly sorry." Got his name. PB. "Fine, whatever. F you." And he huffs away. Spoiler alert, I totally do have that authority. If he would have been kind and understanding, just a simple, "Oh man, I'm sorry, I knew I was cutting it close. There's nothing I can get." "Okay, well, have a good night," I would have hooked him up, apologized profusely, given him my name and schedule so he knew when to come in. But an aggressive man banging on my door while I'm alone? I have a decent amount of money I'm counting. 1, I'm pissed at his entitlement. 2, I was scared. I don't know why this was second in my mind. I was alone, a girl in her mid-20s, late at night with a man shouting at her. You think even for a second I'm giving you crap for free? No. My Nana picked me up. She came in on the tail end of the altercation. When I told her, she was like, "Why did you open the door? That was so dangerous. You're a young girl, alone at night with money, fighting with an angry guy. That could have gone bad fast." And she ain't wrong. Never left a note, never heard from the guy since. I'm calling this a qualified win. My manager wouldn't have sided with him anyways. My customers across the board are always so sweet, or at least polite, so this is highly unusual for me. Never again. Once that door's locked, no matter the time, never opening it again. Be safe out there. As annoying as that guy was, siding with your auntie, in that situation, you were fortunate it was just some little jerk complaining to get free pizza. And our second story. Park in my spot. Have fun looking for your car. Disclaimer. This is a story my mom recently told me, so I don't know all the details, but I thought it fit this subreddit, so enjoy. When my mom was in her 20s, she was living in a small apartment in the city near her university. Finding parking spots in cities is extremely difficult and annoying, so when my mom got the offer by her landlord to rent a parking spot right by her building, she gladly took him up on it. It was the type of deal where you'd pay for the spot and then they'd put your license plate in front of it so the others would know it was a designated and paid-for spot. Everything went well for a while, and my mom was very happy with her spot until one day some jerk decided to park his car, a rather small one, don't know what make or model, sorry, in my mom's spot. She let this go on for a few days because she thought he'd stop eventually, but after having to drive around town looking for a parking spot night after night, she decided it needs to stop. She contacted her landlord and told him about the issue. Unfortunately, he said he was not responsible for actual availability of those spots and thus not authorized to do anything about it, although my mom's theory was that he just didn't care as long as he got his money. He advised her that if she wanted to do something about it, all she could do was have the jerk's car towed. However, to do that, my mom would have had to pay the towing fee in advance and only later would have been able to make the jerk pay the cost on the condition she gives the towing company the name and address of the guy. The problem was that even if my mom had his contact info, which she didn't, she wasn't able to advance that fee and still have enough money left for rent and other living costs. So my mom decided that she couldn't let this go on, so she called her then BF and two of his friends to help her with her plan. The next time that jerk parked his little car in my mom's spot, they all went down to the parking lot and made sure no one was around to see. They then started lifting and carrying the car by doing swinging/bouncing motions and lifting it up on the count of 3, moving it just a few inches at a time. After a few hours of doing this, they had successfully moved the jerk's car to the center of the parking lot, not in any one spot, just on the little road in the parking lot. My mom saw a policeman giving the guy a ticket later that day, which isn't too much. That jerk sure as hell never parked in my mom's spot again. That is commitment and dedication to move something that heavy for a couple of hours. Jerk learned his lesson. And our next story. Karen and her husband at Panera. I used to work at Panera. This one time, a woman came in and ordered something on our kiosk, little computer screen where people can just search what they want to eat and insert their card. The restaurant was empty at this time. She was the only one there, and I asked her a few times if she needed help with anything, but she said no each time. After a while, she walks up to me and asks where her food is and that it usually doesn't take this long for just a cup of soup. So I go to the computer in the back and see that there are no new orders. I go to the kitchen and ask. They tell me there hasn't been an order in a while. Her card's been declined, and that's why she didn't get her food. I go back and tell her this. She gets mad at me. I ask her if when she ordered, did the screen say approved? She goes, no, it didn't say approved, but I know I was charged. B, how? I tell her I can ring her up for the soup, and that I'll make sure it's top priority in the kitchen. Even offered her free pastry for her trouble. She declines, tells me to go F myself, and leaves. Not even 2 minutes later, her husband comes in yelling at me that the card was not declined. He told me I made his wife feel like crap and that she was crying in the car because of how I treated her. And this man walks into the kitchen yelling at my coworkers to give him his cup of soup. I didn't know what to do, so I tapped on his shoulder and told him he wasn't allowed back there, to which he told me that if I tried to hit him again, he'd call the cops. Mind you, he was a 5'11"-ish grown man and I was 20 at the time. I've always been a pretty small-looking girl for my age, so it's funny that he took the tap on the shoulder as a threat, but I know that was my fault for touching him. At this point, my manager notices what's going on. The man was grabbing me by the shoulders and yelling, and my manager escorted him out, let me leave early, all that for a cup of soup that I was willing to give them for free and call it my mistake if they'd just not been complete a-holes. If his wife was crying in the car over a cup of soup, they have bigger issues. The second he stepped into the kitchen, it should have been a leave now or we'll be making a phone call. And our next story. Neighbors put a barricade blocking off our street. We're the second house away from the turn-in. They're the first. The neighbors like to put up a barricade blocking off the turn, consisting of traffic cones of unknown origin and trash bins. They do this so a party consisting of young children and drunk adults can play and loiter in the street without anyone being able to get through. They're really disruptive and leave trash everywhere and play loud music. When we drive home, if they have the barricade up, we have to drive 5 minutes to go around and get to our house. The issues are, this would obstruct any emergency services trying to get to houses on our street. They couldn't even drive through because of the people in the street. Someone could miss it and smash up their car on the trash bins. No one can get through in general. They would have to take the 5-minute detour. They're endangering the children. All the beer bottles they leave could pop tires. I could physically remove the barrier, but I feel like they might confront me. We've already tried asking, and they just say something along the lines of, "Otherwise, people would drive into us," or other excuses. Update. I documented the barricades, taking photos and videos of the obstruction, the trash, and the unsafe conditions. I also gathered testimonials from other frustrated neighbors. We compiled a detailed complaint highlighting the safety hazards and submitted it to the local municipal office. The local authorities responded quickly. They visited our neighborhood, witnessed the disruptions firsthand, and spoke to the neighbors responsible. The officials explained the legal and safety implications of blocking a public street without authorization. They issued a formal warning and informed the neighbors that any future attempts to barricade the street would result in fines and potential legal action. Additionally, the authorities installed official no blocking signs at the turn-in, clearly indicating that obstructing the street was illegal. This intervention had an immediate effect. The barricades disappeared and the disruptive parties ceased. And our last story. The HOA doesn't allow grills. Not me, but my friends. This was about 12 to 13 years ago. Two of my friends, Rob and Ken, were renting a condo from Ken's parents when we were all in college. This was just a run-of-the-mill, kind of rundown, no-frills condo complex, but it was part of an HOA. Though none of us were loud and we didn't party, the main hags who dominated the association hated the fact that college-age kids were living there. They were constantly pounding on my friend's door and pointing out every single violation, real and imagined, that they supposedly committed. One time, I, my girlfriend, now wife, Ken, Rob, and Rob's then-girlfriend were all on the back porch having a cookout. Rob had one of those short charcoal grills, and after we ate dinner, we were just sitting around the grill drinking beer. Then the HOA hags walked up to the porch and told Rob and Ken that fire pits were not permitted by the HOA. Rob pointed out that it was a charcoal pit, which was permitted, and furthermore, he pointed out that the hag had a very similar grill of her own. She said that hers was allowed because it had taller legs, whereas his was shorter, and so while it may be a grill, it was close enough in appearance to a fire pit, and thus was a violation of the HOA agreement. Rob countered that there was nothing in the HOA agreement that specified how tall the grill had to be, and that the grill was completely safe and within compliance with the HOA, so she could get off his porch. She demanded that we immediately put out the fire because as far as she was concerned, it was a fire pit, and she would report it if he didn't comply. He finally told her to get the F off the porch because she was trespassing. This was a bullcrap complaint, and she knew it. She finally left, still threatening to report him. She probably did, but it didn't go anywhere. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.